Shalom, Zion. Shalom. Excuse the appearance. It's early in the morning. I've been up for quite some time, praying, reading, meditating. And as I looked out my window this morning and looked at what appears to be clouds, but if you're awake, you know they're not clouds. I'm going to turn the camera around so that you can see what I'm talking about. They're not clouds. People have been programmed to believe that what appears to be clouds now are actually clouds, but they're not. They're actually chemtrails. These are not the clouds that we grew up with, but because people are so preoccupied, distracted with things that do not profit, things that do not matter, they haven't even noticed that our skies have changed and that what appears to be clouds are not actually clouds at all, are not actually clouds at all. So why am I showing you this? Why am I showing you the sky? Well, as I was looking at the sky, Yahuwah placed something in my nefesh. If you remember a while ago, Yahuwah spoke a warning through me to Yashar'AL with respect to darkness coming upon us. And as I looked at the sky this morning, I could see and I could hear the still small voice of Yahuwah speaking to me, showing me how they are intentionally, Zion, trying to block out the sun. How they are intentionally trying to block out the sun. Why? Why are they doing this? If you read the very beginning, Zion, from Barashif, in the very beginning, there was only darkness upon the earth, and the spirit of Yahuwah hovered over the face of the deep. And Yahuwah uttered a command. He said, "Let there be light, let there be light." Now this was before the sun, the moon, and the coca bean, what most call stars, were created. They weren't created until the fourth day. This was the very first day, so they did not exist. So what light was Yahuwah talking about? Well, he was talking about his esteem, Zion. He was talking about his righteous Torah. He was reestablishing order in the earth. He was reestablishing order in the earth. He was making a distinction at that point, between good and evil. Between good and evil. And he was separating at that time good and evil. Good and evil. Hashatan and his horde, I believe at this time had already been cast down to the Eretz. And that at this particular time, at this moment, Yahuwah was making now a distinction between good and evil, day and night, light and darkness. We know that darkness is synonymous with evil. It is synonymous with sin, as light is synonymous with good. Light is synonymous with righteousness. And so a distinction was made in the very beginning between good and evil, light and darkness. But what's interesting to understand is that before Hashatan, Zion, before Hashatan, there was no darkness. There was no darkness. You see, he is the reason for darkness. He is the reason for darkness. Before him, there was no darkness. He is literal darkness. He is literal darkness. There is no darkness, Zion, in Shamayim. The text declares that Yahuwah is light, and in him is no darkness at all, that if any man claims fellowship with him, yet walks in darkness and are without Torah, because Torah is light, he lies and does not live by the truth. So there is no darkness in him. There's only light. The text also declares that he dwells in unapproachable light. He dwells in unapproachable light. He is light. He is light, and there is no darkness in him at all. And so Hashatan is the progenitor of darkness. Darkness is a result of Hashatan. Hashatan has dominion. He and his horde have dominion over the darkness. Hence, he is called the Prince of Darkness. He is called the Prince of Darkness. They have dominion over the darkness. Hence, they seem to come alive at night. Demonic forces, they seem to come alive at night. Most demonic attacks, they occur at night while we're sleeping, because this is when they literally come alive, because they have dominion over the darkness. Hollywood shows us these things, you know, in movies like From Dusk to Dawn, when darkness falls. They give us hints of these things. They show us that they have dominion over the darkness. So what am I saying? What am I saying? Now, in that video, Warning to Yashar'AL, Darkness Comes, Yah warned Yashar'AL that there's a thin veil, a veil that separates the natural from the supernatural, that separates light from darkness. And that veil is growing thinner and thinner and thinner, such that night is almost now synonymous with they. Their world, in other words, is also is almost synonymous with the natural world now. The supernatural is almost intertwined with the natural. It is becoming intertwined. It is becoming one. Soon, one will not be able to make a distinction between good and evil, light and darkness, because these two worlds are going to be joined. And the satanic elite of this world are doing their part to make this become a reality. And one of the ways that they're doing this is they're intentionally spraying the skies with what most know as chemtrails, such as to purposely block out the sun. Zion, they want literal darkness to come upon the earth. They want a time of literal darkness to come upon the earth, such that the reign of darkness has complete autonomy, over the earth, so that a reign of darkness comes in, is ushered in, and so that they have complete autonomy over the earth. Are you prepared, Zion? Are you prepared? Are you prepared for what's to come? Are you prepared for the darkness that is soon to come upon the earth? I'm not talking about physical provisions with food and water, with guns and ammo, because those things, I'm not telling you not to store those things, but those things are not going to be enough. Those things are not going to sustain us. They're not going to sustain us. Only the full indwelling of the set-apart spirit of the Ruach HaKodesh is going to sustain us in this season. Are you spending time on the threshing floor? Are you spending time before the feet of our kinsman Redeemer? Are you spending that time on the threshing floor, allowing him to separate the proverbial wheat from the chaff that is inside of you, that is inside of us, so that the Ruach, the set-apart spirit of Yah, can dwell in us in fullness? Because unless he dwells in us in fullness, we are not going to be able to endure. We're not going to be able to overcome what is soon to come upon the earth. When a time of literal darkness is coming upon the earth. Go down to the threshing floor, Zion. Go down to the threshing floor. Go down to the threshing floor at the feet of our kinsman Redeemer and allow him to separate the proverbial wheat from the chaff that is in us, so that the Ruach, the set-apart spirit of Yah, can dwell in us in fullness and prepare us for the literal darkness that is soon to come upon the earth. Shalom, shalom, Zion.